In this World AIDS Day, I'd like to remind people that HIV is alive and well in our communities. And there's one thing that you can do if you want to stop HIV, and that's take the test. Yes, everybody should take the test. If we do that, we will finally conquer HIV by first and foremost ensuring that no single child will be born with HIV in this province, in this country, in the world. And we can achieve that within our lifetime. But more importantly, we could stop HIV transmission from all routes by simply taking the test. Because if you take the test, then you can control your life. You can start a antiretroviral therapy, which is going to save your life, and stop from passing HIV to others. So, in this World AIDS Day, take the test.
AIDS stands for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome, which means deficient immune system. You get AIDS after becoming infected with the HIV virus. You get infected with the virus by unsafe sex, contact with blood of an infected person, for example by using a contaminated injection needle, from mother to child during pregnancy, childbirth or breastfeeding. Because the virus is transmitted through blood, sperm, vaginal fluids, preseminal fluid, breast milk. You don't have the risk of becoming infected with the virus by saliva or shaking hands. When you have HIV virus but aren't symptomatic yet, you are seropositive. That means that there are HIV antibodies in your blood. You don't need to have any signs of disease yet. An HIV infection passes through 4 stages. In the first stage, the body can show signs of disease like continuous fever and swollen glands, while some people who are infected remain asymptomatic in their first stage. In the second stage, recurring airway infections, skin, mouth, and genital lesions often occur. In the third stage, you may have complaints like prolonged diarrhea, excessive weight loss, tuberculosis in the lungs, and other serious infections like meningitis. Finally, besides serious infections, the nervous system may be affected in the 4th stage, which can result in motor loss or AIDS-related dementia. It may take 5 to 15 years before you know that you've got AIDS. This is because sometimes it takes longer for symptoms to occur. HIV and AIDS can be treated with medication but can't be cured. Antiretrovirals slow down the multiplication of the virus but doesn't kill it. To support the treatment, AIDS patients often get medications to boost the immune system and fight against infections. You can prevent AIDS by having safe sex and using clean needles.
$33.4 million people in the world are living with HIV. And get this, 25 million of them live in sub-Saharan Africa. Those in the region represent 70% of all people living with the virus and 88% of all HIV-positive children in the world. In order to shed light on these harrowing statistics, yesterday marked the 25th annual World AIDS Day, an international event that raises awareness about the disease. Now, there's no doubt that in those 25 years, tremendous progress has been made. In 2012 alone, about 9.7 million people in developing countries received access to antiretroviral drugs, a 20% increase from the previous year. Thanks to this medication, last June saw the 1 millionth HIV-free baby born to a mother with the virus. And just today, Obama pledged that the U.S. would donate $5 billion to combat AIDS over the next 3 years. So with the expansion of sex education globally, AIDS is now a preventable disease. And for those infected with HIV, the condition is manageable. One problem, though, these drugs cost a fortune, and they're monopolized by big pharma. It's estimated that between 1997 and 2003, 10 million men, women, and children died from AIDS, largely because they couldn't afford the medication that would have saved their lives. In fact, according to the documentary Fire in the Blood, in one South African township, patients were told to go home and die because there was nothing more that could be done for them. Just to give you a perspective on the disproportionality of AIDS deaths, consider this. 10 million people died in sub-Saharan Africa of AIDS over the course of only 6 years. That's 15 times more AIDS casualties than in America's entire 32-year history of the disease. This hidden genocide is a result of patent monopolies by pharmaceutical companies such as GlaxoSmithKline and Bristol Myers Squibb that prevent cheaper generic alternatives of HIV medication from being created. Now, Big Pharma argues that the industry has to keep these drugs at artificially high prices because research and development is risky and expensive. One problem, that argument is blatantly false. According to medical publisher BMJ, 84% of worldwide funding for drug discovery comes from government and public sources, with just a measly 12% of that funding put up by the big pharmaceutical giants. Furthermore, the average pharma company spends 19 times more on marketing than basic research. So, while we've made enormous strides in the fight against this terrible disease, we still have quite a long road ahead. But I think the real question is this. If pharmaceutical companies have the means and they have the money to save lives but are holding these drugs above the heads of those who can't afford them, is that a crime? You tell me.